Ecuador. Ecuador. Peace Corps sending me to Ecuador. I didn't even know where Ecuador was, and I had never been outside of the country, but I knew I was going on an adventure, a cultural adventure that I've never experienced before. So I packed my bags, grabbed my invitation, and set out for my journey. During my Peace Corps training in Ecuador, the staff did a really good job teaching us all about the language, the culture, all the regions in Ecuador, and the three ethnic groups: the mestizos, which were everywhere, the indigenous people that were mostly in the Amazon, and the Afro-Ecuadorians that were in the coastal province of Esmeraldas. Afro-Ecuadorians, there's black people here? For some reason, I didn't think that there were going to be black people in Ecuador. I know we're everywhere, but I didn't think about Ecuador. So I was really intrigued about learning more about them and who they were. When I got placed, my assignment was actually in the Andes Mountains in a city called Ibarra. La Ciudad Blanca is what they call it, the White City, for its white buildings modeled after after Spain. Ibarra was actually surrounded by volcanoes and mountains and lakes. It was green and lush, and it kind of looked like the Jurassic Park when it rained. It was so beautiful. And it was this urban, posh, modern city. People had phones, very fancy iPhones, fancy cars. The high schoolers went on to college. They took international trips. I mean, it was a posh situation. I lived in a 10-bedroom house with a woman who was a beautiful depiction of a mestizo woman in Ibarra. Also in the city, there were the rest of the ethnic groups, the indigenous and the Afro-Ecuadorians. And I said, wait a minute, where are these people coming from? I know they didn't come all the way from Esmeraldas to live in Ibarra every day. Oh no, they're from around the mountains, someone told me. Where are they? Where are they from? They're from Valle de Chota. You can take a bus and go around the mountain and get to know them. I said, I am going to do just that. And I did. I got myself together, went down to the bus terminal, and got on the big green bus titled Valle de Chota. On that bus ride, I was so nervous. My heart was beating. My hands were clammy. Again, I wanted a very cultural experience. I was getting it in Ibarra, but there was a whole nother world out there. On the bus ride, I noticed the difference between the green lush, how it faded into tans and browns. The temperature rose about 10 degrees hotter, and there were nothing but Afro-Ecuadorians on that bus. I thought, wow, this is going to be a pretty cool experience. I got off the bus with some other folks when I got to my stop in Chota, and as the bus drove away, in a cloud of dust, there was a woman standing off to the side, almost as if she was waiting for me. Her name was Doña Mercedes. She said to me, Oye, ¿de dónde eres? Me? I'm from the United States. My name is Portia, and I'm a Peace Corps volunteer, as I handed her my official letter. She took the letter, looked at it, looked up at me, looked back at the letter and said, Sí, niña, but where are you from? I'm from California in the United States. She looked at me and paused, very serious. No, mi cariña, where are you really from? At that moment, I knew exactly what she was asking me. I had been asked this question before in the past by someone not like her and not her tone. So when I answered her, I said, well, I'm originally from Alabama, which is a southern state. My whole family's from there, but our ancestors are from West Africa. I don't know what country, but they're from somewhere in West Africa. ¿Y usted? She replied with a smile. Oh, we've lived here for a long time, and our family came from Colombia by way of the Congo. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I thought, wow, this is so interesting. And she said, venga. And I went along with her, and just like that, instantly, we made a connection. We walked through the small, rural community of Chota, nestled between the Chota River and the Pan American Highway. It was a little replica of Africa in my mind. Women walked around with baskets on their heads, men with machetes in their hands coming back from work, greeting us, ¿Cómo te va? Buenas tardes. Hola. People coming up to me asking me, whose daughter is this? I felt like I was a part of the community already. We walked and we talked and we ended up back at Doña Mercedes' house, where she fixed me a big plate of guandules y arroz, the best rice and beans I had in Ecuador. We talked more about our differences and similarities as descendants of Africa. We talked about inequalities, we talked about solutions, we talked about general everyday life. And as I got back on the bus, headed back to my urban paradise of Ibarra, I thought about how lucky I was to meet a woman like Doña Mercedes to help shape my Peace Corps time, and then to live in this beautiful urban paradise. And there on that bus ride, I thought, I'm getting my cultural experience, but I'm getting the best of both worlds. Thank you.